last 144 years ago?
Oh, yeah. That's what those Kriyas will do for you. Well, first and foremost, let me dedicate this presentation to our Guru, whose continuous blessings provide us with opportunities that are customized for each of us to grow spiritually. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to join Nancy, Anjali, and me tonight in divine fellowship and allow me to share a very special opportunity that Guruji gave me. I also want to thank Chris Dempsey for producing this slide presentation that will enhance what I will try to convey to you this evening. Now, I'm not here to floor you with facts or slaughter you with slides. I just want to share a heartfelt story with my brothers and sisters as best as I can. I did not go as a tourist. I went as a pilgrim, as someone representing all of you on this great path. So I hope I got just enough to let you know how that felt when I was there. Now, I've had the good fortune, and I must add, along with my wife's blessing and my late mother's blessings, to make 3 pilgrimages in India during my Vanaprastha stage in my life. So I'll go give you a little bit of highlights of each one of those before the Kumbh. It was in 2011 I accompanied Anil and Malti and their 2 children, Bina and Deepesh, and also Sevi Rodriguez to India. And to this day, I give a heartfelt compliment to Malti for her incredible and ambitious itinerary. That's when we were a lot younger. That allowed us to visit 6 cities and towns in 5 states across northern India. And the majority of our pilgrimage, of course, was at masters, ashrams, and kendras. And we also visited Sri Yukteswar's Sarampur and Puri ashrams, and of course Babaji's cave in Dwarahat. We also went to a few major Hindu and Buddhist sites as well. Well, listen, I have to mention this, that on this first pilgrimage, I was so steeped in anticipation. You know, Mother India felt so familiar to me that I was hoping to experience some metaphysical confirmation that perhaps I had grown up in India in some former life. Well, on my first day, we were at Noida ashram, which is about 45 minutes from Delhi. And I was walking the grounds on that first day, and I saw Swami Amarananda. And he looked at me, I looked at him, and then we started to come together to greet each other, and I was going to introduce myself. And he had this smile, and it got bigger as he came close. He said, "I know you, I recognize you." And then I go, and he goes, "Eddie Murphy." I said, "Brother, Swamiji." Well, see, that comic relief really relaxed me, because it said, "Paul, while you're in India, be in the moment. No ruminating over any preconceived notions. Just receive whatever comes from Guruji." And on the second pilgrimage, that was in 2017, I went to the 100-year centenary celebration of the founding of Guruji's school in Dahika that he founded in 1917. And one of the keynote speakers was the chief minister, somewhat like our governor of the state of Jharkhand. He came. And then on top of that, the government of India loaned YSS a 15-car train to take over 1,500 of us devotees from Ranchi all the way to Dahika, which was a 4-hour trip. Now, we met at 5 o'clock in the morning right in front of the Smriti Mandir, and we did the Prabhat Ferry, which is the procession. But before that, we were all lined up behind the banner. And then after the banner, we had the palanquin with Master's picture, beautifully garlanded. It was a picture of him when he went to visit Dahika when he went back to India in 36. Then it was so embellished with all the flowers. And we just proceeded down from Ranchi all the way to the train station, chanting Guru's name throughout the street. It was just an epic moment. When we got on the train and we started riding out, we kept singing. Each car had their own leader, kirtan leader, and we sang all the way up. And as I was going up, I looked out on the countryside of the vast plain in India. And then I thought about when Master's parents took him to be blessed by Lahiri Mahashaji, and how Lahiri Mahashaji touched Master's right in the spiritual eye, and he said, "Little mother, thy son will be a yogi. He'll be a spiritual engine taking many souls to God." And as I was listening to that engine, I said, here we come. That was a special moment, special memory. And another highlight was that I was an honored guest at Chandrani Ghosh's family home. You know, Chandrani is one of our longtime devotees here. So the outcome of that visit, in short, is that her brothers are now my brothers. And Chandrani, I'm her American Dada, her older brother. And that means a lot to me. And we do Rakhi every year, some of you know, honoring the brother. And that's so sweet and special. So anyway, let's go to the Kumbh. Okay, I'll tell you, I arrived in Varanasi on February 6th. And that's important because that's my birthday. And I stayed overnight in the homestay. And the next day, Harish, the owner of the homestay, scheduled one of his drivers to take me to Prayagraj at 9:45 a.m. It was close to a 4-hour drive through grueling traffic jams on ragged roads, and I'll put it to you like this: skillful and creative driving. We arrived at the YSS campsite located in Sector 15 at 1:30 p.m. But before I go any further, let's get a summary of facts about the Kumbh Mela from this 2.5-minute video that was a promotion piece for the 2019 Kumbh Mela.
Do you know of a festival so big that an entire city is created just for it? A city whose population is greater than that of many countries combined. For a spiritual practice older than recorded history. Welcome to the Kumbh Nagri in Allahabad, home to the largest spiritual gathering in the world. Every 6 years, saints and pilgrims from all over India gather here to celebrate the mythological story of Samudra Manthan, churning of the great ocean, which is believed to have produced a pot bearing Amrit, the nectar of immortality. This pot of Amrit was carried to the heavens, passing through 4 holy sites. One of these sites is the confluence of 3 rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, and the invisible Saraswati in Allahabad. Revered as Tirthraj Prayag, or the king of all pilgrimages and holy sites. The Kumbh Mela gained importance under King Harshvardhan's reign over North India. It was popularized across India by Adi Shankaracharya and was even respected in the Mughal era when the Allahabad fort was built at these very banks. When the British took over, they tried to restrict the crowds with a pilgrim tax. But pilgrims never stopped coming to the Kumbh Mela. From all corners of the country and then the world, they came in droves and keep coming every 6 years. In 2019, between 15th January and 4th March, the Kumbh Nagri will witness its largest gathering ever. With official estimates of over 120 million people, this will be the largest human gathering on earth. The Kumbh Nagari, almost 100 times the size of the Vatican City, is like a country in itself. It has its own hospitals, police force, fire brigade, water, food, electricity supplies, sanitation, roads and pontoon bridges. There are large tents set up in the true Mela spirit, traders bringing local indigenous arts, and akhadas that host sermons through day and night. And all of this is set up in just 4 months. It is as if this ancient culture of the Kumbh is living an immortal life, blessed by the very pot of Amrit that it was named after. And a new chapter will be recorded in the life of this ageless festival in January 2019, when the march towards Kumbh will begin once again.
So that in a nutshell gives you some facts about the Kumbh Mela. I'd like to also make 2 points in addition of what was revealed in the video. The distinction of the names Allahabad and Prayagraj, and the distinction between Ard Kumbh and a Maha Kumbh, and Nancy touched on that quite well before I came up. The name Allahabad, there we go. Allahabad dates back to the 16th century when the Mughal Emperor Akbar ruled India. But even as recent as 2018, President Modi and his political party changed the name to Prayagraj, which is, it literally means a confluence of river, but it also signifies it as a holy Hindu site. There's a significant distinction between the 2019 Kumbh and the 2025 Kumbh, which is occurring right now, as what Nancy said. The 2019 Kumbh was an Ard Kumbh. That's a half. Every 6 years, it alternates between the sacred locations of Prayagraj and Hardwar. So to give you a simple definition without getting too deep into Vedic astrology, the term Ard means half, signifying the event at the midpoint between the Mahakumbh festivals. And so I'm here to reveal that my son, he's in India right now, and he spent 4 days at the Mahakumbh. And just as Nancy said, it's considered to be a very powerful and rare, once-in-a-lifetime Kumbh that is occurring. And that's because of the most auspicious occurrence of the moon, Mercury, the sun, and Jupiter are aligned together. And it's said that the energy is amplified from this constellation alignment, and it's only witnessed every 144 years. So also, as you may recall in the video, it was said that the 2019 Kumbh was projected to have 120 million people participating in that 40-day period. Well, I'm here to tell you what the correct figures are. 240 million, doubled. And on my bathing day, it was 30 million people. Now, they're not all coming in one area. The river has a long shoreline, so there's all kinds of entrances. So it seems like a lot. It is a lot, but there's some spread there. It's dense, but not quite as dense where everybody's, like sardines in a can. What's even more important to us, though, is that the very grounds of Prayagraj have been blessed by the footsteps of our Guru. And in the Autobiography of Yogi, Guruji has recorded significant events involving both Lahiri Mahashaji and also Sri Yateswarji with their encounters with Babaji. In chapter 34 of the AY, I'm going to give you a summary, and those who've read it can, you could refresh your memories. Lahiri Mahasaya took a short vacation from his office duties, and then he attended the Kumbh Mela. Babaji appeared after Lahiriji was critical of an ascetic, thinking of him as a hypocrite. So in other words, Babaji came to teach him a little wisdom lesson. And no sooner did he think that about the ascetic being a hypocrite, Babaji was there washing an anchorite's feet. And Babaji looked at Lahiriji and says, by serving wise and ignorant sadhus, I am learning the greatest of virtues, pleasing to God above all else, humility. In chapter 36, Guruji asked Sri Yukteswar, have you ever met Babaji? He replied that he was blessed to meet Babaji for the first time at the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, held in 1894. It was also Swamiji's first time attending the Kumbh, and he fell into that same trap of criticizing those that he saw. And Sri Yukteswar told Master, he says, this is what I was thinking. He says, oh, this fair is nothing but a chaos of noise and beggars. As soon as he thought this, Babaji called out to him. When he approached Babaji, Babaji asked him, what do you think of the Kumbh Mela? He already knew. What do you think? Wanted him to confess. So Sri Yukteswar answered, I was disappointed up until the time I saw you. Kind of buttering him up a little bit. Babaji gave him this wise counsel. It's incredible. It's classic. By telling him, for the faults of the many, judge not the whole. Everything on earth is of mixed character, like a mingling of sand and sugar. Be like the wise ant that seizes only the sugar and leaves the sand untouched. Though the many sadhus here still wander in delusion, yet the Mela is blessed by a few good men of God realization. And what is particularly significant to us is when Babaji revealed to Sri Yukteswar that he would have a part to play in the harmonious exchange of East and West, and that he would send a disciple to train to disseminate the science of Kriya Yoga in the West, our very own beloved Gurudev. And lastly, in 1936, our Guru attended the Kumbh Mela when he returned from America to visit his Guru, Sri Yukteswar, and he was hoping he would see Babaji at that time, but Sri Yukteswar told him he wouldn't see him that time. But he went with his group of devotees, and let me just read a short passage of his description. Master said this in AY. Our party reached the Kumbh Mela on January 23rd, 1936. The surging crowd of nearly 2 million persons was an impressive sight, even an overwhelming one. 2 million, that was overwhelming then. The peculiar genius of the Indian people is the reverence innate in even the lowliest peasant for the worth of the spirit and for the monks and sadhus who have forsaken worldly ties to see a diviner anchorage. Impostors and hypocrites there are indeed, but India respects all for the sake of the few who illumine the land with supernal blessings. Westerners who were viewing the vast spectacle had a unique opportunity to feel the pulse of the nation, the spiritual ardor to which India owes her quenchless vitality under the blows of time. Well, I want to share one such testimony of a Westerner viewing the vast spectacle as Master put it.
It's inspiring. Just between the little old ladies and, people have these little compounds and these Babas have this compound and someone, everywhere you're walking down, someone's teaching here, someone's teaching there. So this very vibrant, alive situation. It's not just people going to the river and bathing and coming back. There's something going on everywhere. And this compound feeds 1,000 people a day, and that compound feeds 2,000 people a day. And over here, this one doesn't feed anybody, but there's lectures going on. And this one's really rich and fancy. This one's just a poor little place, side by side. And that's an interesting thing to see is the diversity and the intensity. It's like one of the most intense experiences on earth, I think, the Kumbh Mela.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I wanted to just at least let you know that YSS, our sister organization, how organized they are. When any devotee wants to go over and be a part of the Kumbh experience. I just wanted to show you, this is my registration confirmation, and I don't want to take a deep dive in it. I just want to let you know that what was important was that here's my registration number, and they let you know, they put on record when you're going, at what time, and when you're leaving. They also have in that packet a map, and that was very good for my driver because he knew exactly where to go. Here's the YSS camp. That's in Sector 15. And we came down from this area. This is a driving, the green is the driving lanes. Of course, this is the bridge, and that's a railway bridge. And he dropped me off right here, and I was able to go straight to my camp. And what was so auspicious that it was the Adi Shankaracharya Marg that campsite was on. Here is the entrance of the camp, the YSS entrance, and on both sides of the entrance there's some very good posters that just encapsulate SRF YSS, and you see who's prominent is the Reverend Father Chidanandaji on that particular one. On this one on the other side, this one on the other side is just highlights devotees, and but one of the prominent pictures in there is of Prime Minister Modi reading the autobiography of a yogi. But you notice he didn't get the big picture, right? It's all about God. It's not about Prime Minister, but at least it was very validating to have someone of his stature in the Indian government to embrace the teachings of our guru. This is the late Swami Hiteshanandaji. He was the Swami in charge at the time when I was there for 5 days. He led us to our bathing shore on our bathing day, and he also organized, just as the Dr. Yvette said, about feeding hundreds and thousands of people. Well, YSS does the same thing, and they lined up those tables, and they had a lot of pots, and they fed a lot. And he was there. He rolled up his robe and was right there in the midst and feeding the pilgrims who wanted to eat there. This is the entrance of the meditation tent, and that's in the beginning. Of course, you know the cornerstone of our teachings is meditation, so that's the first thing you see is the meditation tent when you enter the YSS campground. This is the altar, and as you can see, there's all the articles needed to perform arti, and arti was done every night before the evening meditations. And I took a little quick shot of, at that time that was Brahmachari Daryanandaji. He took sannyas. He's now Swami Daryanandaji. He was leading the meditation that evening. And this is the sleeping quarters for the men. You just get in there, find your space, plant your flag, and that's yours for the rest of the duration there. And you know, one of the things that when you do register, they do tell you, and I love the word they use, it says, please be advised it will be Spartan conditions. I looked Spartan up, and that's the truth. It was some Spartan conditions, but who cared? You were at the Kumbh. This is Sri Kumar. And we bonded. This young man, we bonded. I woke up, he was sleeping right next to me, and then he got up when I was rustling around. We looked at each other in the eyes, and yeah, we were friends. And he was there because he had a very sickly 2-year-old daughter, and he took the time from his work to get there to pray that she be relieved of suffering. And he asked me to pray too, and I gladly agreed that I would pray for his daughter on my bathing day. And then all of a sudden, he held up, he says, "And if you need this," and I go, he said, "Yeah, this is a geo." And I said, "What's a geo?" "Oh, it's a portable hotspot." I said, how in the world did you know? I've been over here 4 days. I haven't been able to reach my family. They don't even know if I'm alive or dead, or if I made it to India, or if I made it anywhere else. And he says, you can use it anytime. So I just went right back into the tent, and I started texting on WhatsApp to my wife Lydia, to my kids, to my mom, and they all, I got a deluge of relief from their texts. But I do want to read what my daughter wrote, because this really got me right in the heart. This is my daughter Christina. We're dressed up before we came to an Indian night some years ago, but there she is. But here I'll read out of my journal. She said, "It's so weird. I just felt this overwhelmingly sense of your emotions of pure joy and peace taking over my body. I feel Paramahansa, Dad. Right now, at this very moment, 2 exclamation points. I know, I was so worried about you traveling over there by yourself, but he showed me through your eyes and definitely reassured me that you will be just fine. Wow, now I get it. I know why you needed to be there. Love you, Dad. I'm weeping happy tears." I'm glad I got through that without crying. It just hits me in the heart every time. Here, I got up in the morning after meditation and started walking the grounds, and I walked down this lane, and then here you can see walking down this lane, there's a backdrop of all these pilgrims walking by, a backdrop of an elaborate entranceway of one of the camps. And this was a very elaborate campsite tent of some spiritual organization. And then I managed to make my way to the main lane used by sadhus, gurus, ascetics, and their disciples that did a procession. And they were either going to their campsite or they were going to go dip in the Ganges. And it goes on and on. There are 2 campsites that I saw saints who are familiar to us. One was Swami Vivekananda, one of the chief disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Here's one of Anandamoyi Ma. And I'm sure there were many more of those campsites all over. And then there was this one. There's the Women Power Camp, showing the picture of its teacher. And this shows just a fraction of all the diversity of teachings that you'll find at the Kumbh. All right, bathing day time. The morning of February 10th was a bathing day of the devotees that were selected for that day. When you did register, you had to put down 3 different dates. And so that way they can kind of organize it, become more manageable with the number of people that are at the campsite. So they picked February 10th for me, and I was real happy because that was on an auspicious day. And I'll read something from my travel journal. A large group of us gathered in the courtyard of the camp at 5:30 to assemble for our bathing day at the Kumbh. February 10th is especially auspicious. It is Basant Panchami, which is the celebration of Ma Saraswati, and that is the Hindu goddess of knowledge, music, and art. And it was also the third Shahi Snan. The Shahi Snan means royal bath. And that is when the pilgrims, they don't go near the water. They allow the yogis, all the saints, all the sadhus take a bath. Well, they do come near the water. They watch them, but they don't get in the water until they have had their bath. So those on that day, all the sadhus and ascetics went in, did their bath at 4 in the morning, and we waited. And about 5:30, we began to go there. And that's auspicious because think about all the vibrations of all those sannyasis taking a bath and leaving all that good holy stuff in the water for you. So anyway, as we lined up, several of us were given YSS flags so that I jumped. I wanted to give you a picture of what the Shahi Snan looks like. That's important. I can't press it. There we go. Great. So, as we lined up, several of us were given YSS flags so that our group can stay together as we merged with hundreds of thousands of pilgrims proceeding to the bathing ghat. And Dharanandaji gave me a flag. I was honored. I proudly carried Master's banner of YSS and shouted my response to the call, Jai Babaji Ki Jai. Jai Yogananda Ji Ki Jai. It was a special moment. And this is our procession group. That's me, that's my flag. And notice how orderly. You think about how many people, no one touched me on the way to the bathing shore. That's how it seems overwhelming with the numbers you hear, but it was so orderly, and there we were going towards the entrance. And another thing, there were so different methods of people staying together. We had the flags, and you can hear the whistles, but this was the most unique and just incredible idea when there were a number of women lined up, and they tied their saris together like a little train going in there. And I saw several women groups like that, and it was just unbelievable. So here is the entranceway in our particular sector. Very nice. And then this is where we put all of our belongings down. And men had to become prepared because you had to disrobe right there on the spot. And the women have those box spaces to change. So let me read this. This is the experience I had when I got in the water. Although it was cold, I felt sustained by a divine love. Stripped down to my bathing shorts, I entered the Mother Ganga, took 5 dips, and cupped my hands like a spout and poured out water 7 times, asking Mother Ganga to wash away my sins. Then I proceeded to take the names of family, divine friends, my spiritual community, the monks and nuns of the order, asking God and gurus to bless, protect, and awaken all of us. I wept at the love I felt. I was especially moved that Mother Ganga gave me only love and purity, even though I stained her pure waters with my sins and darkness. What a love supreme. Here's Master's flag bearer getting ready to take his crew back to the campsite. And I want to share one more story with you. And this is, I'm going to bring it to a close. This is my son Sharif, who's over there now. And he went to the Kumbh Mela. I'm going to show you a few pictures that he sent me. And then he's going to Chennai to see the Reverend Father when he gives his satsanga. I'm very proud of this young man. This is what he wrote me. He was living in Tampa, Florida at the time. And this is from his journal. On February 9th, 2019, as I settled into my evening practice in Tampa, Florida, my father was thousands of miles away, immersing himself in the sacred waters of the Ganges River during the Kumbh Mela. Millions of pilgrims joined him in this ancient ritual bath on the auspicious morning of Basant Panchami and the Shahi Snan. An unusually severe bout of restlessness had plagued my meditations for weeks and was becoming a source of great discouragement. Expecting another futile struggle with my restless mind, I was astonished when midway through my meditation, a palpable wave of peace washed over me. The veil of agitation lifted, replaced by a profound stillness. I diligently recorded this breakthrough in my spiritual journal, noting the marked improvement in my subsequent meditations. Upon my father's return, he recounted his experience, sharing that he had offered a particularly fervent prayer for me during his dip in the Ganges. He knew I had recently weathered an especially tumultuous period in my life. Suddenly, a realization struck me. Tampa is 11 and a half hours behind Prayagraj. His heartfelt prayer, amplified by the spiritual energy of the Kumbh Mela and the sacred river, coincided precisely with my meditative breakthrough. This experience serves as a powerful testament to the enduring strength of a father's love, magnified by the divine vibrations of the Ganges and the collective devotion of millions. It was a moment of profound connection, transcending time and space, reminding me of the unseen forces that bind us all together. And here are some pictures that he took and sent back. This was last Monday. That's him flying into Prayagraj. He didn't have to go from Varanasi in a car. He flew right in. And that's just an aerial view. And here is their entrance of the YSS camp. And that's their meditation room. But here is the treat. The treat, and I didn't even know this was there. They didn't even mention this when I was there. Here's Sharif with a YSS devotee bowing in front of the exact spot where Babaji met Uteswarji. Right there, it's a shrine now. And isn't it wonderful how Babaji picked a natural cathedral to have that encounter with Sri Uteswarji. Okay, so to conclude, I want to give you just a 5-minute overall view of what a Kumbh really is like.
Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh Kumbh hai Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh 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 ye Kumbh Kumbh hai Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh 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 ye Kumbh Kumbh hai Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh 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 ye Kumbh Kumbh hai Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh 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 ye Kumbh धन्य है धन्य धन्य ये कुंभ Kumbh Kumbh ye Kumbh धन्य है धन्य धन्य ये कुंभ कुंभ ये कुंभ धन्य है, धन्य धन्य ये कुंभ। कुंभ कुंभ ये कुंभ धन्य है, धन्य धन्य ये कुंभ। कुंभ करीले कुंभ भरीले, धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। अरे कुंभ करीले कुंभ भरीले, धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। परम ज्ञानी अमृत ऊहा झलकाए रे। अरे कुंभ करीले कुंभ भरीले, धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। परम ज्ञानी अमृत ऊहा झलकाए रे। कांकर पाथर जीव जनावर, नदी झाड़ सब एक है। हो कांकर पाथर जीव जनावर, नदी झाड़ सब एक है। बस है सभी में एक प्राण, सुन अलग अलग बस रूप है। यही तत्व का अंतर दर्शन, कुंभ मेला करवाए रे। धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे, धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। अलग अलग मार्ग से बहती ज्ञान ध्यान की पावन नदियाँ, ज्ञान ध्यान की पावन नदियाँ। सबकी अपनी अनंत कथाएं, जिनको सुनती आई सदियाँ, जिनको सुनती आई सदियाँ। सब नदियन ही आन मिले जब, सब नदियन ही आन मिले जब। कुंभ मेला बुलवाए रे, धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। धन्य धन्य हुई जाए रे। दसों दिशाओं में जो व्यापार, कण कण में जो बसता। दसों दिशाओं में जो व्यापार, कण कण में जो बसता, कण कण में जो बसता। कोटि देह को करी के धारण, इस पुण्य धरा पर रमता, इस पुण्य धरा पर रमता। ओ विराट दर्शन करे प्रभु का, विराट दर्शन करे प्रभु का। जो कुंभ मेला में आए
the nearest of the near, the dearest of the dear, closer than hands and feet, our living Guru. Jai Guru.